Creating events in AltspaceVR is fast, easy, and free. You can choose from dozens of pre-made event spaces. Some spaces have games, some have interactable items like snowballs. Creating events in these spaces is easy as setting up a video call. No coding required. So let's get started. Welcome to our first stop on the tour for various worlds in Altspace. These are all of the default templates that you can find when you go to create an event. The first one I'm bringing you to is the presentation stage, because this is the base world for a lot of different spaces. By default, everybody who enters this space starts in the audience. There's a spawn point on the left and a spawn point on the right of the audience. There are stage blockers to prevent people from getting up on the stage, but they don't have any ropes that block it off. So as long as you turn off the stage blockers, people will be able to walk up there. If we head out, you'll notice there's quite a bit of space in the back here, so this can be used for socializing. There is some sound coming from the popcorn machine in the back, so sometimes that might be something to consider for your particular event. There is a kitchen space. Usually these spaces have blockers so people can't go into them, but you could remove them and then people can teleport into the kitchen area. There is a very nice lobby area. There are also blockers by default, stopping people from getting into this coat check area, and the ropes would also keep people from getting in unless they teleport into that space. A lot of people may just spawn into the auditorium space and never even come out here, but it's really a lovely patio, and often I will change the spawn points so that people will start out here and then welcome them into the rest of the building. You can see the outside of the kitchen. And then there's this additional lovely terrace up the stairs. Great place for people to stand around and talk, check out the view, hang out under the heater in case it's cold. And then what's interesting is all of these auditorium spaces have some kind of a backspace up here. We'll show you how they use it a little bit differently in one of the worlds, but generally it's an open gallery like this, providing more space for people to come hang out and talk. No, the video machines don't actually do anything. They're just there for dressing. But people can also stand up in this back gallery to watch the presentation if they don't want to be in among the seats. And you'll notice there's also some space up against the back row where people can stand rather than sitting down. And that's good if you have people who are in VR sets but are a little bit fidgety and might be distracting to people in the rest of the audience. These bleachers figure into several of the different layouts. There's a layout called Panel, which has bleachers like the stage, but the stage arrangement is a little bit different. There's a late night set that also has bleachers, but you'll notice the stage has the talk show host desk and a chair and a mic for the guest. This is also the same as for the roundtable discussion. Bleachers, but instead on stage, there's the half circle desk with 5 chairs and a mic. Then there's the movie theater auditorium, which is just like this presentation stage, except it has a big media player screen, and there are ropes that block people from coming up to the stage at all, because the idea is everybody would be sitting out in the audience. If you don't want the bleachers, You can actually remove them using the world editor in all of those worlds, or there are 3 worlds that don't have the bleachers. There's one called the club stage, but instead of bleachers, it has these planter-like seat things towards the back. Those are permanent. You can't remove the planter seat-like things. So if you really want a totally open space, use one of the templates that has the bleachers and then just delete the bleachers. The Club Improv also has the planters and seats, but there are mics and a podium on stage and a small projector screen. Then there's the Media Lounge, which is like the movie party, but it doesn't have the bleachers, just the planter sofa pieces at the back. There's one very different use of the auditorium stage. This is an alt quiz game. The game is built in. You can delete the game using the world editor if you don't want it present, but the idea would be that people would come in here specifically to play. They've made some interesting modifications to the space. They have velvet ropes to prevent you from getting on stage because the idea is that everybody is out in the audience watching, not up there presenting. They've also really changed the upstairs area. Instead of a flat area that leads out to an open terrace, this is all enclosed. There are also tables and social area at the back here, so it's a much larger space taking in everything that was part of the terrace here. There is no outside to this one. Unlike the other spaces where you can go out into the lobby, this one keeps you contained with just the staircase downstairs. And then in the lower gallery, you see some tables. The tables are not removable. So even without the game screen, it can be a nice place to have a party with the tables for some extra atmosphere. This is a different kind of space. They call it the boardroom. You notice you have a lovely view out the windows here, all along the side, and then a very long boardroom table with a faux speaker in the middle. So this would be a great place to get people standing around talking to each other like you were in a conference room. The whiteboards at the back are not functional. And then this one has a ramp that's going to take us to an upper level. Another nice view of the space. And then up here you can see there's an additional table that people can stand around and a screen that can be replaced with the web projector if you need to show content. There are a couple variations on this space. One is Office Olympics, and you can see that it's just like the boardroom, but they've added in some games. You can do paper toss or Velcro darts. The other space they use this for is the dance party. Same layout, but it doesn't have the table. The sky is dark, dance party sign, and the upper area is sparse. There are several variations on the Keynote Arena space. This was initially built for the mixed reality dev days and features this really nice lobby area with tables and a bar. There's also a very nice patio out here. The bar area has sound effects of light piano music and clinking glasses. But if you come out to the patio area, it's quiet. There are 2 fire pits in this space, one on each side. A really fun thing to do is to bring in the marshmallows interactable, and then people can feed marshmallows to each other. There's the other fire pit. The main variations in these spaces come in the auditorium area. This is a variation that has open air. You can't actually walk into that space behind the stage, but if you have interactables like fireworks or paper airplanes, you can actually send the interactables there. It can make a really fun kind of shooting gallery off into that space. This particular one also has a fire stick in it. And then there are some that have all of this area enclosed and have a screen at the back end. It's a little hard to identify which one is which right now. It mostly seems all about the props that they've put in. So experiment. This space may look familiar to you because it's very similar to the space that you get that is called your home space. There are lots of little areas in this. You have kind of this nook over here by the stereo. You have your closets. You even have this little area that could be set up as a stage if you wanted to add some stage blockers up there. And by default, people spawn just inside the door. But if we step out, this is the rooftop games. And there are 2 environments based on this one. You can go a little bit over here to the side of the house and check out the view. Then you have this large space out here with 2 cornhole games, which I find very difficult to play in 2D, but I imagine in a headset it's great. You have the additional area back here, including a fake stereo. You have the basketball courts. Really lovely view. And then there's this interior area with another popcorn machine, but a great space for socializing. Believe it or not, this is the same area as the rooftop games, but they've built this very large stage here and obviously added a lot of bleachers. So it's a great, huge seating area if you want to do some kind of a performance, and especially to do it outside. And the default is night, but it is possible with a world builder to change the stage box so you could have a sunny blue sky if you preferred. Many stage blockers up here to keep people from hogging the limelight. And you wouldn't really realize that it's the home area unless you kind of wander back in the area behind the bleachers, which I don't know that most people do. So there are the same chairs that we saw before, obviously with no view of the stage. And then you have the same internal areas that you have in the rooftop games. This is a different meeting room space from the boardroom. It does have this circular space that can serve as a table for people to gather around and the screen towards the back. I also find this good as a lobby space because you can use that circular space as kind of a desk area and station people inside of it to field help desk requests or event questions. Another room where I love the view, huge windows towards the back. This raised area also functions as a stage in the VR podcast room, which we'll show you in a little bit. So it can be a much smaller, more intimate auditorium. And you notice we have some ramps over here. We'll do a little bit of teleporting. I love the view in the back here. If only we could have all of the windows just wrap around the entire space. You can't actually go out into that deck area. It's just decorative, but I still love that it's there. And then you have a nice little sitting room kind of area. Sometimes what I'll do in events is use this as lobby space to get to other events, and then I'll just line up some teleporters here across the back, not expecting anybody to sit in them. As I mentioned, this is also available as a VR podcast. You can see that there are bleachers and podiums at the front if it's in podcast configuration. And here's what it looks like if you're standing up on the, quote, stage area. The other interesting thing they do with this space is another game. This is holograms against reality. So similar to Cards Against Humanity, if you have at least 3 people in here, you can fire up the game and play against each other. This space is the Street Hoops space. It is the only variation on this space. So what you see here is what you get. It's kind of a fenced-in area. You can't go beyond the chain link fence over there. You have basketballs and basketball hoops. Those are interactable. And you also have these kind of cement bleachers, very much a playground kind of feel. There are a few kind of nooks off towards the back there, but really it's just this basketball space area. You can remove the basketball and hoops if you don't want them, but the court is always going to stay down here. And there you go. That is the tour of all of the templates currently available in AltSpace. If they add additional templates, we'll come back and update this video. Thanks.